How do I get into character? How do I stop the nerves from rushing me in an audition? How do I stay focused and in the moment before I begin speaking? And how do I keep my head in the audition game? Let's talk about it. Okay, so you're in the room, you're in front of the audition panel, you've prepared ahead of time, you've turned up on time, everything is kind of set and ready to go, and then the audition panel say those fateful words, whenever you're ready. So that basically means it's showtime. So this is actually what I get asked the most by one-to-one clients who are preparing for auditions, both professionally and for drama school. What can I do to get into character and stay focused even when I'm nervous? Well, first and foremost, you do need to be prepared. Now, this is something that I've been going on and on and on about, and something that I've done lots of previous YouTube videos on, and it's plastered all over my social media. Preparation is key. You think about preparation for auditions much like the foundations that you set into the ground before you build a house. If you don't have foundations, or you've got really shaky foundations, then the house will fall down. Science. But preparation aside, what is it that you can actually do when you're in the room in front of the audition panel? So there are actually two telltale signs of actors just not doing the right little baby process before they begin to speak. The first one is this: whenever you're ready. Okay, great. But I do think it is their husband's faults if wives do fall. Say that they slack their duties and pour our treasures into foreign laps. And the second one is this: just whenever you're ready. Yeah. But I do think it is their husband's faults if wives do fall. And both of those are bullshit! The first one is not helpful because you're not even on thought. You are behind the thought. You have started before you are even ready. And that comes from rushing yourself thinking that you're inconveniencing the panel and that you owe them the time that you've been allocated in the room, which again is bullshit. And because you don't want to waste anybody's time, you're going to start as soon as you possibly can, regardless of whether you're actually on thought or not. Not helpful. And the second one, oh my god, it's just horrible to witness. Like, I actually feel dirty witnessing it. Like, I can scrub and scrub and scrub and just never get the pretension off of me. I'll just never be clean again. This is often done for effect. It's done to be witnessed, which basically means that you want to have the appearance of being a really kind of intense and in-depth method actor, when in fact there's shit all going on in your head. And you're occupying your thoughts with, how am I coming across? How does the audition panel view me? Do they think that I'm really impressive and really kind of moody and intense and dramatic? So you're not even focusing on the character, the situation, the relationship with the person that you're speaking to. It's indulgent, it's selfish, and it's wanky. And audition panelists can see through it, funnily enough. So don't do it. It's bad. It's bad acting. Instead, what I suggest doing with those brief moments from when you're ready to actually beginning the speech or the scene that you're doing, I recommend this. First, check in with your body. You want to get your breath low. When you're nervous, you start breathing up in your chest, when in fact you want to lower that breath. That is going to help with the nerve. It's also going to just help with your breath capacity to get through those thoughts. 2, you want to have your shoulders down and you want to have your knees unlocked. Again, when we're nervous, we tense, but what we actually want to be doing is being loose enough that if physical impulses are present, you can follow through with those. If your body is open, then you are going to be open to movement. The next thing is you want to plant your feet on the floor. Not frozen, not rigid, but enough that you actually feel grounded, you feel present, and that you're actually confidently taking up space in the room. Next, you want to check in with the moment. First of all, you're going to focus on, who am I speaking to? And that means the character and the relationship that you have to that person, because we act and behave and work to affect people who we have different relationships with. So you need to get that really, really clear in your head. So actually in front of the audition panel thinking, okay, who is it that I'm speaking to? Ah, yes, it's my sister. I'm speaking to my sister. But also use those few seconds to decide which panel member you are going to be addressing this all to. If that's not been decided ahead of time, if you don't have someone in the room that you're reading with, actually pick somebody. And if you're unsure whether they would be comfortable with you actually addressing them in the audition, ask. Or maybe decide to actually pick a spot on the wall and work to affect that. I usually suggest actually using a person because then you're not making an extra imaginative leap to actually imagine I'm speaking to a person in an imaginary scenario when in fact you could just use someone who's right there in front of you. But again, they might not be happy with that, so ask them. But the worst thing to do is not decide ahead of time, not actually pick anybody, not know where your eyeline is going, so you begin to speak and your eyes are going all over the place. Not a good look. Next, get clear in your head what you want. And that is specific to what your character wants within the scene or within the speech. Now that all comes with your preparation, but the objective or the want has to be strong enough and it has to be clear enough that you can say a very small sentence wordlessly back to yourself before you begin speaking. That centers and focuses you and it will provide drive and momentum for you throughout the scene and throughout the speech. And then the last thing is, what is my trigger? Now understanding that your character does not just come to life the instant you begin speaking. It has been living and breathing prior to this moment, prior to this scene, prior to this speech. So you've actually got to warm yourself up into it before you even begin speaking. So actually getting crystal clear in your head what words were spoken or what action was taken that actually triggers you into you speaking this first thought. The trigger is the fuel for the objective. It's the thing that actually has a knee-jerk effect for you to jump straight into the scene. But you can't just jump straight in if you don't know what the heck is actually fueling the first thought. So there we go. That, my friends, is the things that I would suggest doing to get into character, to stay focused, to work with those nerves and understand what is going on in a nice focused, steady way before you begin speaking your first line in your audition. I hope this was really useful and happy auditioning. But until next time, bye.